Welcome back to the channel, guys, and today is a little bit of a treat for you. I've got one of our SRD 1600R short blocks that we're building. The R stands for race, so this is one of our race packages on our short blocks. I'm going to show you some of the components we're using, and yeah, I'll show you some of the surface finishes that we do on the cylinders, and also what we do on the additional firing ring around the top of the block as well. So if you look here, we've got some R&R aluminium race rods. We're using Cleveite bearings as well. These are the HX series, so it gives us additional clearance on the mains and the big ends. We've got some Manly 10-to-1 pistons with some thick wall wrist pins as well. Just laid all the engine out, getting ready to spec it all up. Again, HX series main bearings. I've got my bore mic out and my micrometer. I've already checked all the bore clearance on it. I asked my machinist to finish at a 4 thou bore clearance for this, and he is exactly 4 thou. So thank you, Nick, for making sure you do a really good job on the boring. Also in this block, we're going to be using our bridge kit for our tunnel as well. This is, instead of using billet mains, we've used this package now on all of our engines for the last 5 years, and it stops the caps from walking around. Also gives it some extra strength over the cap as well. We have never cracked a cap when we've been crazy power and launching the car hard, so this is a good alternative from your billet mains. So this is our deck of the block. We add additional firing rings onto the top of the bore as well. Gives it a bit more seat pressure, so we'll put a copper wire in here and it'll give it a bit more seat pressure between the head gasket and the block surface, mating surface as well. I've also had this block honed to my specifications, so I'm very picky about surface finish on the blocks because we need them to last. So I can't give you the details out of what I actually do with the surface finishing, but I can assure you that the surface finish on this block is adequate for the 1500 horsepower with ethanol fuel. I also do countersunk radiuses on all of the studs as well that go into the head as well. Just a very little radius around the stud. This will stop any cracks wanting to go out and lead into this water jacket. The other thing about this block, which is world's first, is this block's been wire rodded. So between the cylinders on the 2J, there is a hole. There's an 8th hole that gets drilled all the way through the cylinders on both sides. And this is where you get these X marks. I'll just show you them now. So these are the X marks that you get on a 2J block when you start pushing over 1,000 foot-pounds. And yeah, this can cause a lot of issues with blow-by and not sealing the rings properly. So with the wire rods in, we get rid of all of these marks, which means we can increase the cylinder pressure without any blow-by, giving us a more powerful and a more torquey engine. The block's been fully cleaned and etch primed with the 2K paint as well over the top of it. It looks lovely and glossy. It's had all the bearings taken out from the front and the rear, thoroughly cleaned inside and out. And we are pretty much ready to start building now. I've done most of the prep work already, and yeah, very happy how it's all laid out, ready and waiting for me. It means I can just assemble it nice and cleanly, and then once I'm done assembling, I can then wrap it all up and get ready for the next process, which will be putting the aluminium sumps on and the cylinder head. Now I can start nipping the saddles down. Two-staged from inside out. So first torque will be 30 foot-pounds. and then up to 60. Just take your time. Feel what the stud and the nut's doing. Check the crank rotates smoothly. Should be no resistance, it should be silky smooth to rotate. This has got assembly lubricant on it as well. There's no change in resistance. The other thing I do as well is make sure that the thrust have got clearance, so you can push the crank over one direction and check. Thrust smooth that way and that way. And we're good. That feels lovely. Last thing I've got to do is just mark them all. Anyway, that is it for this part of this engine build. We're going to move on to the rods next and make sure they're all mint. So this is now one of our SRD 1600R engines, short blocks, all put together, to give you a quick look around it. And yeah, this is going to be an absolute monster. It's going to scream to 9,000 RPM. It's going to have a load of torque. Yeah, it's going to be a mighty engine, and it's going in Sam's car. I've still got the core plugs to put in. As you can see, it's got some 10-to-1 pistons in it, additional firing rings. It's been wire rodded, this block as well, all between the cylinders. Our bridge kit, and yeah, all the big chunky aluminium rods as well. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this engine up and carry on with it tomorrow. All wrapped up, 100% sure now that this engine will not have any contamination whilst it's all going together. I think a lot more engine builders should use the pallet wrap to make sure their engines are kept clean, even if it's in a clean room. Just, you know, the dust that's floating around. I know now this is sealed and yeah, totally and utterly free from contaminants, and I can continue building this engine. So back with Sam's engine, and I've just fitted the sump, the strainer, and I've fitted this awesome Tom Eye baffle kit. It's got a brand new secondary aluminium sump on it, and yeah, it's all brand new and it's looking absolutely sweet. All new zinc plate bolts, all the stock original hardware. Looking forward to listening to this one on the dyno at full chat. That's this extra firing rings now all put into this block. There's a secondary ring around the top of the cylinder, copper wire, that's going to give it a little bit more seat pressure onto the head gasket to hold them combustion gases in when we turn this engine up to 4 bar. So this is the SRD 1600R race package engine that I put the cylinder head on after doing all the additional firing rings and setting all the valve clearances as well. It's all wrapped up, ready for me on Monday. I can crack on, get all the ancillaries, put the cam belt on, all timing gear, and basically get this one ready to go in the car. Anyway, looking forward to running this one on the dyno at full pelt. It's always good fun when you're pushing the limits. Yeah, all nice and wrapped up, make sure it's nice and clean. So this is the ultimate street Supra. You're not gonna beat it anywhere in the world. It is absolutely epic bit of kit. And I'm gonna show you around the engine bay and around this car. '76, '75. It's on an SRD exhaust manifold, all SRD built, downpipe, mid-pipe. It's got a Willwood master cylinder on the clutch for the concentric slave. It's got a line lock system all fitted underneath the front of the master cylinder for the brake reservoir. Still on its viscous fan, Mechman high amperage alternator, PHR cam pulleys, they've been dialed in and set on the dyno, R35 Hitachi coils, Hypertune billet cam covers, Hypertune inlet manifold, 12 injectors, all the intercooler pipework's all made in house, power steering reservoirs all at the back. It's a really tidy bay, this one. Huge intercooler on the front of it as well. It's got all our metal and brake kits on. It's on a Samsonus RS90 5-speed dog box. It's got a toucan gear indicator, normal little stereo, parachute handle, rear cage, drag radials, Simpson parachute, 4-inch exhaust system, titanium burnt tip at the end. This car is the UK's fastest half-mile Supra. That is 1253 wheel horsepower, 7675 on a 3 litre non-DPI. That one fucking mega.